and race baiting and all of that.
To take the word of two women unaffiliated with the university.
Dawson's attorney says she took part in a private conversation with two women at a conference, simply citing a scholarly article, adding that the two women approached her and, not liking what she had to say, took her words out of context.
What she did do is actually try to defend the University of Michigan against these two women's accusations that the university is anti-Semitic.
This coming after months of stress between the university's administration and pro-Palestinian students, and rewards totaling $6,000 being offered for information about vandalism at the home of U of M Regent Jordan Acker, after pro-Palestine messages were scrawled on his family car and mason jars filled with urine thrown through his front window. Now, we did reach out to the university, and so far we have not heard back. We also did reach out to Michigan Hillel's chief of staff. He did say no comment at this time. As far as legal action, now Dawson's attorney did not get specific, but she did say the appropriate action will be taken and soon. Reporting live in Ann Arbor.
Okay, quick question. How many wooden shoes you think she had to make before she was able to leave the North Pole and come do this report?
Oh, Becky?
Y'all don't see it? Y'all don't see the elf in her?
The ears?
Yes.
The goddamn nose.
For Erica.
Anyway.
Yeah, I can kind of see it now. What you're saying now, yeah.
Yeah. It's either shoes or cookies. Let's stop teasing.
She said both, motherfucker. Multifaceted.
Come get these cookies. Maybe you'll leave with some nice shoes.
She looks like the secret lover of Dr. Umar Johnson.
Oh, Lord.
You know he had a snow buddy somewhere, though.
I had a guy try to...
I beg your pardon?
I had a guy try to write me a soliloquy on that. I know y'all seen that Snow Bunny video with Dr. Umar.
With the AI generated one?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that shit was hilarious.
Wait, I gotta see this. I gotta look that up. To the AI generated with Umar with the Snow Bunny? Oh gosh, that's funny.
I tell you what, y'all tell me what y'all think about this. Let me find it.
The secret love.
Oh, y'all ain't hear what I said. No, I was saying, y'all go ahead and tell me what y'all think about this situation with her.
My thing is, I'm gonna say that.
Go ahead.
Was it a black woman who said that shit?
Yes. Look, good. She gets every fucking thing she deserves. This should be a fucking lesson. How come we are always taking everybody else's fights, but nobody comes to our aid really when shit happens to us? We go harder for other people than we do for ourselves. Fuck that. Well, you know, I have a lot of Arab friends. I got Jewish friends, but you know what? We're in a stage right now in society. In the words of Tariq Nasheed, it's time you got to hold your own nuts.
It's every nigga for themselves. And guess what? The first nigga need to get his due. And right now, here's the fucked up part. I can't be mad with her for saying it because it's true. Here's the fucked up part. They'll get insulted because you say there's some rich Jews who own it, but every PWI has a what? A Weinstein, a Bernstein donation or some shit like that.
Yep.
Last time I checked, right?
Yeah.
So last time I checked, those are not Jedi last names.
Nope.
See, this is the reason why and it's funny because it's about it's about time you start throwing it in the so-called chosen people's face, because look what they're doing over there in Israel.
Yep.
The same bullshit they were 80 years ago. Oh, Lord, that was 80, 90 years ago. The whole world came to their fucking aid. Well, now it's the audacity, but at the same time, here's another thing. Sometimes the chick need to shut the fuck up. Oh, my God, that is so funny.
I don't want to play the music because I don't want to get copyrighted.
Oh my God, yo!
Oh my gosh, that's
Wait, rewind that back to the bunnies.
Hey, put that in the back check, man. I gotta see this shit.
Yeah, this is funny shit. What the bunnies?
Oh God!
Boy.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's gonna come to the point where.
Oh good Lord.
God.
Oh my God! Proudly too.
Oh.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Oh, nobody.
Beg your pardon. That man, 'cause that's funny.
I beg your pardon.
Oh my God. Oh Lord.
I need you to send that shit to me, man. That shit.
I am. I'm about to. Let me get the link. I think, matter of fact, I think it's on the face. Wait, hold on. Okay, let me copy the link and put it in the back chat. Say Umar looks happy. Private chat. Okay, here we go.
You know, he's gonna have a black woman. Hey, I want to love you. I beg your pardon. I got this beautiful snow bunny here. She cooks grits with shrimp. Fries my chicken. She even make ribs. I've learned to like potato salad with raisins in it.
And carrots.
And carrots. And goddamn carrots.
But yeah, well, you know, whether she said it if she said it or not, whether it was taken out of context or not, for them it don't matter. If you know, if you are still beholden to people, you cannot run your mouth recklessly.
No, that's just. See, the bad part about that is just poor etiquette.
How did she not know that it was a setup?
It's called black women hubris, okay? Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. You gotta forgive these motherfuckers, man. That's what happens when you're too smart for your own goddamn good. Too goddamn smart.
I remember back before they were firing people, you know, for social media videos. When I was doing my Bitter Shoe Show stuff back in Ohio, one of the white guys I worked with, he wanted to watch my videos. So I gave him my YouTube link. I didn't give a fuck. Because I was very careful not to say all white people are racist and all that. And I never talked about the job or any situation connected to the job or anybody or whatnot. I just talked about what I do now, the news. And I used to yell and scream and curse about that. And I'm pretty sure he called himself trying to show that to the people upstairs. But what could they do about it at that time? You know, because I wasn't a front of the house employee. I was considered back of the house. You know, front of the house is front desk, and restaurant, or in sales, in corporate. You know, the like the GM or something like that. Somebody that has to directly deal with the guests. If you didn't, you were considered back of the house. So there was really nothing they could do. You talking about early 2000s. You know, all the way up to like 2015, 2016. Wasn't really nothing they could do. They didn't start firing people until black people started getting racist fired. Remember that? Right before COVID, that whole hashtag racist getting fired.
Yeah.
They filming white people, acting all crazy and whatnot, belligerent and everything. That's when they started getting fired because people would start bombarding the corporations with phone calls. Now, excuse me, you getting fired over words not even associated with the company. You getting fired over TikToks.
You're getting fired when you're off on your spare time.
Yeah,
And I
a
think
lot.
I think sometimes it's bullshit because you could tell when they're gunning for people. But here's the ultimate part. I'm getting tired of motherfuckers getting mad when these motherfuckers are lying. But they want to see this anti-Semitic shit. They're trying to make it look like, oh, that's their version of the N-word. That's our word. You can't say that. But here's the difference between blacks and them. They were given their reparations of a country. They literally had the blank check of a country, of the United States and NATO.
You keep messing around, you about to find out.
And here's the craziest part. They're hell bent on starting WW3. But a lot of this DEI shit is kicking back on people. And I mean, it's like, you ever had an AT4 back area blast all clear? Boom! Don't stand behind it when that rocket goes off because it can kill you. And this is the same results. Now, there were a time and place where you can be so damn valuable that you could talk your shit. But when you're a DEI hire, you were just here just so we could get government grants. Bye now.
Don't talk about Joey and Reed like that.
Man.
They all have to go ahead.
I was about to say, Joy Reid need to come over here to the manosphere and have a one-on-one with one of us.
I would say 2 weeks after the inauguration, 2 weeks after the inauguration, if they're, because right now their numbers over there at MSNBC, CNN, and ABC, especially the View and their news organizations, whatnot, their numbers are like in the hundreds of thousands. The View is still retaining some numbers because people are now, they're clip farming. They're watching them to clip farm and make fun of their asses, especially Sunny. Okay, Sunny and Whoopi are their main targets, but specifically Sunny. So far, she's up to 7 legal notes. All right.
Correction, 11.
11?
Oh,
Yeah.
She's up to 11 legal notes because I do understand they just had to cash out Trump.
Yep.
They had to cash him out 15 mil because of Stephanopoulos. Did I say his name right?
Yes. Stephanopoulos, the motherfucker from off of Sesame Street. The goddamn motherfucker.
And I just heard the judge in the Georgia case is not dropping the case.
They goddamn, they want some enemies, don't they?
Yeah.
And my response to that is, okay, I don't want to hear shit when Trump goes after y'all. Y'all can't say anything. When he goes after Fannie Willis and what's that?
Letitia James
and Alvin Bragg, I ain't saying nothing. The pawns always go first. I told people that.
You know what they're gonna say Trump's gonna be like, before we begin, does anybody want to get off?
Remember Players Cup? Old boy, pulled up in there with his board and said, "If anybody in here don't want to get murdered, get the fuck out."
Pretty much. I'm gonna tell you, man, they're gonna see what real power is, and I think that's the problem.
Yep.
They haven't been around real power wielding motherfuckers.
Biden.
Trump,
Go
think
ahead.
about it. Trump was already powerful before he was a president.
Yep.
That's the one thing that they fail to understand. They
Do I
be
need to
killing.
say it again?
They be killing me talking all of this crap about this failed casino. Oh, he had a failed casino. Like,
And?
but he's still a multi-billionaire.
But here's the problem.
What do you,
The nigga had a casino.
right? That's Oprah. I'm sorry, not Oprah. What's her? Oh, Whoopi. You worked for him. You cashed checks with his name on it.
Ooh.
I mean, here's my thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whoopi Goldberg. What movie have you seen her in?
Recently? None.
But the only thing that's been keeping her afloat was a fucking show of old bitches, past their prime bitches.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can. This is funny. Donald Trump has stayed relevant for the last 40 years.
Yep.
Beat that.
I laugh when people are talking about he filed bankruptcy 5 times. Anybody who's ever taken a college business class, one of the first things they teach you is that 90% of businesses fail.
That's why you can do bankruptcy.
That's why that's why we have things like LLC, so that individual doesn't have to pay all that crap back out of their account.
Like, I'm gonna put it to you this way. Come hook about crook. I'm keeping all my licenses. You know why? Because even if I don't produce, I can do the training and assign people to the qualifications of having private detective or security. And I can do the firearms training. So I can literally be the broker for other security agencies if I choose to be. Plus, if I got an EIN, how many tax breaks can I get? How many fucking business accounts can I make?
Mm-hmm.
And if it don't work out, you just be like, what money? What money? Get it from the stone out front.
This sounds like this sounds like a job for Chapter 11.
All right, let's move on.
Now, what was I had to ask this one question. What was that manifesto about? What was her little manifesto for the Wisconsin, for the people?
Teenage angst.
Okay, I figured something like that.
Yeah, typical teenage girl, 17 years old. Not the boys aren't trying to, get their fingers in her undies and all of this stuff. She just, because she was. I mean, she's she's an average white girl in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
going to a Catholic school or a Christian school or whatever, a private school.
And
they probably have a hierarchy that
here's my grift, right? Why does it in today's world, which I'm going to hit up a couple of Catholic and Christian schools this week, why the fuck don't you have security?
That was my first
that's a great
question. But you know what? It's a Christian school.
I don't give a damn if it was the Vatican. The Pope got niggas with guns. Okay? Let's keep it funky, monkey.
And a bulletproof limo.
That's not
Bruce Wayne ain't got shit on me.
That's not really an excuse though, babe, because we got knuckleheads out here that probably fantasize about shooting up a church school. So I would have security if I was running a church school. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Especially a private one.
Yeah, a private one.
Let's break this down because y'all were there when I did my earlier show. private schools do not usually have the backing of resource officers or school police officers, as we call them in Baltimore City. And what happens is you're kind of SOL when it comes to a lot of shit, which is not right because your children are a very hot commodity and something you should give a fuck about.
Mm-hmm.
There's more softer targets than babies and old people, because old people probably, you show up into an old folks home with an AK-47, they'll stand up and throw their arms open like, oh, thank you, the sweet angel of death. But children,
stay with me, Lord Jesus.
No, even they got security because I've been in those places.
I'm just telling you, like, there's no fucking reason any place of learning, especially with a religious undertone, should even fucking dare do that.
Especially with all the abuse cases they got going around. Oh, let me shut up. I'm just saying, all them abuse cases they got on, you would think they would have better security.
bruh, when I was in high school, one of the girls I liked that was in class with me, there's a restaurant at the top of the street of the school.
Mm-hmm.
It was a buffet style restaurant. Me and my school friends were sitting there eating our little post after school meal, and across from us was the girl that I liked and the 30-something-year-old resource officer.
Oh. Okay.
And then had the nerve to get indignant with us for staring at them. He gonna look at us, be like, y'all got a problem? Like, yeah, you're like 30-something years old, sitting here with a 16-year-old girl having, dinner. Like it's nothing when, I mean, y'all aren't related.
Y'all having dinner like y'all some grown folks out this bitch.
Right. Like y'all on a date.
Like,
Her mama, of course, her mama don't know, and even if she did, she probably wouldn't get. Never mind. I mean, Jesus Christ, the teen pregnancy epidemic that happened when I was in high school in the 80s is ridiculous. Anyway, look, now that Trump is going to disband the Federal Board of Education and turn education back over to the states, now as a state, these parents or whatnot, they can individually vote on curriculums, and I mean it's going to be some mandates, all right, federal mandates, but you can vote on whether or not you want metal detectors, armed resource officers, etc., in these schools. It's now up to you in your individual state, city, county, town, etc. It's up to you. It's going to cost you, but what's more important, that funky little $5 extra a month or whatever, or the sin tax? Because I would definitely make it the sin tax. People still drink and smoke, especially some of those smoke shops. Mm-hmm. City, we need to divert some, because I mean these are public schools. We need to divert some of those taxes over to our school system to protect our children.
I'm gonna say this.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I thought you were finished. No, go ahead. I'll be over.
No, you're fine. It's just that these are the things that need to be. What you got there? Oh, you got your syntax. It's Johnny Walker and his Newport. Yeah. Well, yeah, you're gonna be paying the extra. You're gonna be paying the extra $2 in order for the kids to be safe.
Wait. You couldn't get no Hennessy?
What do you got?
Louis, you couldn't get no Hennessy? What the fuck?
Oh, you got the South Sea. What is that? Is that Chardonnay or just what is it?
Oh, that's
Marlboro.
That's Spanish. That's what, Spanish wine?
Oh, Sauvignon Black. Oh, Sauvignon Blanc. Okay, all right. That's a Sauvignon Blanc. Okay, that's a nice little white wine.
Okay.
I got 3 of y'all up here.
Gotta be careful of that. It's a Caucasian wine.
Okay. What's up, Neymar?
How have you been? How you guys been?
I'm all right.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Bay.
Yes.
By the way, I like to do a commercial. And for those of you who have children in school, don't forget to get a nice consultation. And notice I didn't say free consultation. Ain't nothing free here, nigga. With Black Line Security Firm LLC. Black Line Security with the pride of protection, with the protection of the pride. We specialize in all forms and facets of security. So if you got a check, you got protection. Woo!
All right.
You need to
Beautiful.
make
That's
a
beautiful.
digital commercial. What were you going to say, Neymar? And yeah, Charles, you need to make a digital commercial. But how you doing, Neymar?
I'm good, bro. First of all, Bay, you know I love you. You my big brother and all. But I know we gonna be going left. So let's be cordial at least. Because I know you're gonna mess with me eventually. And I look forward to it.
Oh no, we're gonna be good, man. We're about to move on to this.
I know we're gonna be good. You know that. We're good.
Yeah,
I'm like the younger brother you never had. So I understand. I love
I
it.
have a younger brother. Well, I have a younger brother already.
Oh, you have a younger brother? Okay.
Yeah, I got a younger
him for
brother.
some weird ass reason. That's all good, man.
Right.
Just kidding. I'm just messing with you.
All right,
But,
let's get on to.
by the way, Louis, thank you for the link. I appreciate that. But
Y'all ready to get on to the third story?
the security thing. I just want to mention something about school security and whatnot. I remember, growing up where I grew up. First of all, in the Middle East, I remember I went to an international school and they had security like a motherfucker over there. They weren't playing. They weren't joking around. I remember it was high. The entire campus area was covered by high walls, tipped with barbed wire, and whatnot, because of the location where it was. In fact, I'll mention the name to Charles later on, but there was only one way in and one way out. There were separate entrances for staff, but even then, the service bus had to go through an obstacle course of sorts because they had to take security like a motherfucker. And for visitors, they had to go in the same way that the students had to go through. And when you were a parent who had to go to, say, like you had a meeting or you pick up your kid for a doctor's appointment, you had to check in with the guard, and the guard always had they didn't have the metal detectors. Instead, they had the wands. And I remember my mom went there. They would check her purse. My dad, they would wand him thoroughly. And they weren't fucking around when it came to security and whatnot. Especially where it was back on track. It was, there was strict gun control, so security wasn't what it is. But still, it was a closed off compound. You couldn't just go in like you wanted to. There was always a guard checking you, asking you for ID and everything.
Yeah.
And we had to worry about, guns and whatnot. So, I'm sorry, what was that?
You have to be. I keep telling people this. We secure banks and money better than we secure our children.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Think about it this way. Children are the future, right?
That's what the song says.
Yeah, children are the future. But let me tell you, but Charles, I remember I mentioned this before when we talked about what happened here in Norway in 2011. When the shooter took out, the folks at that summer retreat for the Labor Party. His main target was who? It wasn't just officials. It was a lot of the teenagers, because members those were members from the various chapters of the youth wing of the party. Because he was trying to take out the next generation of Labor politicians, whether they were at the local, county, or national level. Even one of them could have had aspirations to have been a future prime minister later down the road, or some of them could have been held, cabinet minister position in the next, center left coalition.
So he was being Jewish.
That's one way to look at it.
You don't get it. To those that don't get it, taking out the firstborn.
Oh, the 10th plague.
Oh no, not too loud, dude.
The 10th plague, but that was the firstborn, the 10th plague. Wait. Don't you need lamb's blood for that? Smeared on top of your frame?
Well, I mean,
on top of the door frame?
Will cow's blood do?
I don't know. It said specifically lamb's blood. I mean, have you read the book of Exodus?
What if you get a big chick and you prick her finger?
Would chocolate come out?
She'd still be a heifer.
Oh, there you go.
All right. We're getting off there.
hey! I knew you were gonna go there. I knew you were gonna go there.
All right. Next story.
All right.
Our favorite crash out queen.
Henyard's battle to stay on the ballot takes a twist. She's now filed, dropped, and refiled a lawsuit, all in the span of a few days. Henyard is suing Thornton Township Democratic Committeeman Napoleon Harris. She accuses him of illegally preventing her and her supporters from taking part in a slating meeting for Township Supervisor earlier this month. It was at that meeting Harris prevented Henyard from speaking before nominating himself to replace her at the top of the ticket. Henyard's attorney says the just filed lawsuit makes the same claims as the old one, but no longer includes Dixmoor's mayor as a co-plaintiff.
In South Suburban Dalton, the fight to stay on the 2025 election ballot has fizzled.
Today, members of the Rebuilding Dalton.
All right, hold on. So that was what happened in Thornton. What's up, Snow?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Well, no. If I get to you. What happened in Thornton, for those of y'all who are, because I kind of let this story take a back seat and let it play itself out. Well, what wound up happening was she got removed from the ballot at Thornton Township. Okay, because she didn't show up on time to put in her nomination. She was too busy. Actually, she was there, but she was too busy trying to, pass out T-shirts and all of this and hats and all of this stuff. Meanwhile, they doing all of the paperwork that's supposed to be done, and she waiting on more seniors on city buses, which is illegal, to show up to show support and vote for her. But the dude, he's the head of the Democratic Party in Chicago, in Illinois. He was like, screw this. He held the freaking the assembly and nominated himself and froze her off the ballot. So she called herself mad, tried to file a lawsuit. She put the other mayor, the mayor of Dixon, on there, and he was like, hold on, I don't want no parts of this. So she had to remove her lawsuit and had to refile it, but then she decided not to refile it because she had no claims, because there's video. She was trying to say that she wasn't in the building. They locked her and her people out. It was an illegal assembly and all of this stuff. But there's videos of her being there while they're getting all the paperwork together and everybody casting their ballots in nominations. Right. So she had to drop her lawsuit. Not only that, because not only did she write somebody else's name on it, but she lied on the lawsuit. There's too much video evidence, so she had to kill it. So you can kiss her goodbye in Thornton Township. They said that she can be a write-in candidate, but I don't think she can garner enough seniors to do that. So
not after all this fuckery.
Right. So now here she is in Dalton. All right. So let's see what's going on with the situation in Dalton.
Party came to the village hall with their attorney ready to, quote, argue, but they were met with good news. The village electoral board unanimously accepted a petition withdrawal. The petitioner, an associate of Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, have requested that members of the Rebuilding Dalton Party be removed from the ballot, citing an outdated election law. Cassandra Hobson-Jordan is a grassroots candidate for mayor. She says she hopes the spring election will now focus on the people of Dalton and not personal politics.
Take a look at Dalton. This downtown has looked like this for the past 17 years. I should be able to come 2 blocks over and come and sit down at a restaurant or be able to shop at a store and recycle the dollar back into this village. It has been looking like this for 17 years. So while these people are fighting over positions, let's get businesses back into here.
Natasha Lee Harrison is a trustee candidate. Well, he and Hobson-Jordan will appear on the April ballot.
It's been looking like that longer than
This is
17
what
years.
happens when your town is ran by single mothers. I
Mhm.
said what I said.
And I will echo it, being a former resident of the city of Chicago. I've seen most of the South burbs, that one included. She said just for the past 17 years, you have to go back a little further than that.
Uh-oh.
Because y'all got false narratives out there, and y'all should be ashamed of y'allself. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's in power. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
Empowered.
You need to be ashamed of yourself. Look in the mirror.
The black flag.
Leave Bunny Ruckus alone.
You need to be ashamed. You need to be ashamed of yourself. You double crosser. Look at it. You double cross and weave wearing whore. Look in the mirror.
Leave
Look in the mirror. That's all we ask her to do. Just look in the mirror and see if that some bitch don't crack.
You don't understand. She got reverse vitiligo.
She got reverse something. She got reverse something, and it ain't pretty.
I swear to God, her and Lil Wayne need to do a DNA test because they look like twins separated at birth.
You don't want that DNA.
Are you saying that's Lil Wayne cross-dressing?
You don't want that DNA. You don't want that DNA test.
Yeah. Oh my God. So now people have asked, because I'm in the Dalton and Thornton Township groups, right? And the biggest question people are wondering is, when is the FBI gonna come and slap the cuffs on her? And here's my theory. You see what's going on, right, with what Biden. You see, he just pardoned some people. He excommunicated some sentences and all of that stuff. People got the hand of Jeebus, government Jeebus laid on them. Even the guy, the judge that was selling kids for cash.
Yep.
You gotta sing the praises of old Jesus Joe.
Yeah. Like the one woman, she cussed that judge out because her son killed himself. He's a wrestling star, and he killed himself because of that kids for cash scheme. So many people that should still be in jail for money, most of it money laundering that led to people's deaths.
Should be under it.
Yeah. So my theory is the FBI is sitting back and waiting on after the inauguration, or maybe even somewhere like within the first week or so, before they make a move on her. So that way she doesn't get any type of immunity or a sweet plea deal or anything like that, to where the DOJ is not hampered, because you still have Democrats in control in Chicago. You still got to deal with the governor. All right. You still got to deal with the attorney general. All right. And there's no telling how far up her corruption ladder goes, for the simple fact that these two morons have been sitting on their hands, shrugging their shoulders, turning a blind eye to her antics.
I'm sorry. What was that M word you used again in insult? What was that word you used again? I believe you said morons.
Yeah.
Because they are morons. Yeah.
We'll see. So I'm thinking once Trump gets into office, and I said this, like, you do not want to be in the court system, criminal court system come 2025. So once Trump is inaugurated, once he's got full control, that's when she'll get her perp walk, because nobody will be able to save her.
That's when all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, nobody will be able to save her. It'll be over. She'll probably even be out of office by then, because the next election for Dalton is what, in April?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Early April 2025.
That would be messed up. She gets arrested. Jason House becomes de facto mayor. She won't be able to be on the ballot. And because of everything that's been going on for the past couple years, him, Kiana Belcher, and all of them having their faces out there, Jason seems to be the most stable out of all of them, because Kiana be yelling back and forth with her, like two girls in the street.
Yep.
Yep.
So Jason just sits there. He don't say nothing. He's very calm. He's very professional. Plus, he's I guess you could say he's an approved black man. Y'all know what I mean by that?
You would be right about
Smile,
that.
smile, nigga, smile.
He has a very creepy smile.
Smile while we put this knife in your back.
But he's an approved black man because he's quiet. He's he's brown skinned.
He's non-threatening.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, he's non-threatening. So he would more than likely wind up becoming Dalton State mayor. But I really do think that after they filed for a couple of bankruptcies and everything, about a good 8 years, because they're gonna have to bring down the taxes that she raised in order to siphon more money out of the residents. Once they bring down the taxes and everything, it's gonna take them maybe about a good 4 years, possibly 8, depending on if they can get the bankruptcies. If not, then they screw for 8. But if they can get the bankruptcies within 4 years, they'll be all right. They'll be all right, and he'll probably win re-election. We'll see what happens with that.
Could I say
Comments,
something?
questions, concerns? Yes, please.
All right, we have to. We're at the hour 37 minute mark. This is your dual cast stream with Embrace Villainy, Red Pill, Sleeper Cell, and Charles Faulkner Jr. Please like, share, subscribe to the respective channels that you're viewing this program on. I've been looking through all the channels, and I'm seeing we're lacking in likes. Can you please hit the like button?
Hit the
Thank
goddamn
you.
like and hit the goddamn cash app.
Support your interests, gents. Support your interests.
Support your interests. Can't do a cash app, do a like, please.
I mean, we just want volunteers, not hostages. At this point, because
Let's get on to the next. Unless y'all have something to say about any of that.
I'm good.
I'm good.
I've been to and through that joint many years. She's talking about it's taken. It's looked that way for the past 17 years. Unless there's a high school tournament in town, it's been longer.
Oh well.
Well,
Right.
all these towns have in common, they're democratically run.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's what happens when you have a democratically ran, especially if it's a black woman. Keep telling people,
Excuse
man.
me,
That's
Mr.
most of
Dillon.
the That's most of the South Burbs, if I remember correctly. Now, if some of those have changed, then so be it. But I can tell you, I rode through that place when I first got started in sportscasting. Went right to the main office in the township, not just the athletic directors, but in the township, saying, "Hey, let a snowman come through and let me bring something that no one's ever brought before, which is internet broadcasting."
Ooh.
And if I may be a little vulgar, those hoes laughed in my face until they heard me.
Man, look, that's Dalton. Okay, that's Dalton.
Yeah.
I mean, you talking about a township that built a damn skating rink. Next story.
Next, please.
By the way,
And
before we
developing now
continue, I just got
safety
something to
concerns
say.
across-
Oh, sorry. My mistake. Go ahead. We'll talk about it later.
What's it about?
I remember you mentioned reverse vitiligo.
Yes.
As someone who has vitiligo, I have to say I can't disagree with you at all.
Okay.
South Florida, a new study revealing that dozens of beachfront condos and hotels are sinking right into the ground at unexpected rates. Local 10's Leanne Morning Home sat down with one of the study's authors and joins us live from Miami Beach with a closer look at this data. Leanne.
Yeah, he said some of the things that they found in this study were surprising, but we had questions because this, of course, affects thousands of people that live in these buildings, and of course, the folks that come.
Wait, you see this in the background? You see this in the background right here? This shit pisses me off as a fucking driver. So give me a second here.
This, of course, affects thousands of people
bruh,
that live.
hustle
in
your
cities,
ass.
and of course,
Move.
those that come and visit and
I'm
stay
blocking.
at these.
I'm blocking traffic. I'm blocking traffic on a rainy day. These people can't drive when it's hot and sunny. What are you doing? Anyway, let's get back to this. What is this fool doing?
Pedestrians have the right of way.
Anyway, sorry. That's a trigger for me. Anyway.
Rising, but we had questions because this, of course, affects thousands of people that live in these buildings, and of course the folks that come and visit and stay at these beachside hotels. Should we be scared? Should we be worried? We asked a geology expert who helped pen this study.
Should residents who live in these buildings be concerned at this point?
No.
35 coastal buildings from Miami Beach to Sunny Isles are sinking. That's according to a study published Friday from researchers at the University of Miami.
I think what was a bit surprising in this study is of how consistent it was over a long distance of how the ground settled.
Dr. Gregor Eberle is one of the study's authors. He says this sinking, officially known as subsidence, is not unique to South Florida.
For example, in New Orleans and Mexico City, or Venice is a classic example that the whole city sinks down. Compared to these examples, it's relatively small.
The study came about after the 2021 collapse of Champlain Tower South. And while they didn't find any subsidence there, they did find it elsewhere.
The building next to it, however, has a pretty high subsidence rate.
Researchers used satellite imagery to map down to the millimeter how much and how fast these buildings are sinking. They looked at satellite data from 2016 to 2023 and found subsidence ranging from 2 to 8 centimeters.
I was surprised that it happened at all because limestones like we have in Florida are very stable. The rates were not that great.
Dr. Eberle says sturdier limestone to the south of the research area does a better job at holding up those heavy buildings than softer ground to the north.
The sand portions will always compact a little bit over time. It's very slow motion and the structural integrity will not be changed by sinking it down a little bit.
So what Dr. Eberle says is that this study should spawn further study to continue to monitor this and also spin off into other forms of research into this. He also said that, again, there's no need for alarm. We also understand that some of the city leaders that were included in the study say that they're going to be looking at this. In fact, the mayor of Surfside says he wants to bring it up at the next commission meeting. And that is the very latest live from Miami Beach.
I'm sorry I brought this to y'all because basically what this old fart said was I just need more government money to pretend like I'm doing something.
Which is not, he's sitting on his ass.
Yeah. How would BGS respond to such a claim by this old geologist?
Here, I can solve that. I have the, if this thing will come up, I have the exact sound
now that is
you're looking for, because Master Teacher would say it this way.
Now that is some bullshit.
Exactly.
Bullshit.
And speaking of which, where's our favorite Floridian when we need him?
Z?
Yeah, the second hardest working Haitian that we know in this motherfucker. Excuse
Probably
me.
working. He probably working.
Probably working.
Either that or he's at a drive.
Working where? Yeah, he working.
Either he working or he had a Popeyes drive-through.
I was about to say he's either working or he's taking a Popeyes.
He's either working.
That boy does 70 hours a week at work.
He's either working or he's driving his putt-putt car.
Yeah, he's driving, and of course, he's driving somewhere, and while all of a sudden, train tracks.
Reckless stream.
With the point. Unfortunately, we couldn't have a reckless stream.
All right, let's do a crash out.
New at 6, a raid at a Hialeah physical therapy clinic. Miami-Dade police say the suspects were faking accidents around the county, and then the alleged victims were going to the clinic to fraudulently collect medical expenses. CBS News Miami's Yvonne Taylor is live in Hialeah with more.
I'm here for a pill. Lauren, we are hearing that all of the people that were detained were women who worked at the clinic named Women's Care here in Hialeah, which is right behind where we're standing. We're going to take you a video right now from earlier today, and we start that footage with investigators when they placed the yellow tape or crime tape right in front of the scene. It happened around 10 a.m. Minutes later, the first one of 2 employees was escorted out by Miami-Dade PD. Another detained employee, a redhead woman who was searched right before getting into the police car, was also put into the unit. Investigators are saying all 3 people are detained, not a...
Nothing screams scam like this one right here in the middle. Slip and fall. That's a scam right there.
Service, workers' comp.
And look what's right under immigration services.
Yeah. Workers' compensation. Yeah, physical therapy, personal injury. I mean, they must have Saul Goodman next door.
Oh man,
better call Saul.
You gotta have a wink with that motherfucker.
Good Lord.
That shit is so fraudulent. You could hit a wink.
And they were Latinos, I think, right? Because remember the redhead suspect they were putting in? That was a
Yeah,
Latino.
she was. Yeah, one was black, one was Latino. Latina. Good Lord, I bet they take EBT.
Arrested. The clinic is located at 5941 Northwest 173rd Street. At the door, there's a sign stating that they do physical therapy.
And a notary. You see that? And a notary.
And a notary. So
and a notary.
Left and right.
Wait. What's a notary?
What's a notary? That's what
Yeah.
you need to have. Let's say you need to have documents signed officially, like for courts or whatnot.
Oh, okay.
Right. So a notary, you pay them $10. Well, last I checked, you pay them $10. You and another party sign it in front of the notary. The notary signs it, and they use their seal. They got a stamp, like a metal stamp.
Okay. Hey, by the way, can somebody put up what Mr. Donnie Mac just posted?
Got to diversify the hustle.
No. Yeah, that one. No, the other one before that. One before that.
Oh, I've fallen. I can't get up. Yeah.
Help! I'm falling. I can't get up.
Personal injury, slip and fall, even immigration. We are hearing from some of the neighbors that the place has not even been open for 6 months. Police are investigating if the clinic is linked to auto insurance fraud. We are waiting for additional information on this. We will have, coming up at 7 p.m., reaction from one of the people here, based on what they saw when this happened at around 10
She's
a.m.
searching. She got Frisker. Make sure that's an actual ass, not a BBL.
Probably is a BBL.
It's Miami. They all have BBLs.
That's messed up. Damn, they even was like, so you need a fake insurance claim? Don't worry, Rodrigo, yes. What's the blue sedan? Okay, Rodrigo.
Yes, sí, señor.
Go get the crash car.
Sí, señor. Let me go in the car. I'll get in the car here.
Like the dude and the chicks up in New York. Remember them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, wait. You talking about the 8-ball jacket incident?
Where they did the fake crash where they bagged up into the car and got out, and they had the pickup car that was behind them. Because the girl had a front and rear camera.
Okay.
So they tried to slam. They cut in front of her and tried to slam on their brakes, but she was already keeping the safe distance, so she was able to brake right when they did. So then they went forward, and then they tried to hard brake check her again, but she stopped. But then this time they threw it in reverse and rammed into the front of her.
Crunch.
Right. So then they get out the car trying to act like, oh, you hit us. But the guy saw that she had a dash cam. So then they all kind of split up, taking off running in the cars and everything. So then there was a massive manhunt out for them. So they caught him and they found the crash car. And the car had several damages on it because that was the quote unquote crash car for the insurance fraud.
I was thinking something else because when we said Latinos, when we said Latino New York, I was thinking something else.
Oh, you're talking about the guy who slapped the chick on the train?
But the April jacket, yeah, you dirty
Yeah.
bitch. You dirty bitch. He wasn't
no,
deaf,
not
he was
that.
Dominican.
Yeah. All right, so let's.
You dirty
That's messed
motherfucker.
up.
CBS News Chicago.
And they
But
got
that's
this
what-
covering it.
But those are your black female businesses. Somebody just farted.
Oh,
Yeah, this story, I've seen this, but I mean I've seen it, but I haven't seen it. It's like let's review this. See what happened to these little girls.
Is investigating how this could happen. A prestigious cheerleading team from Kankakee sleeping on the floor of a school. They got here after a charter bus company took their money and didn't show up to drive them to a championship tournament in Florida.
They turned to our Dorothy Tucker for help, and she discovered troubling details that left these girls stranded.
Oh, wow.
Please don't tell me somebody went Funky Five Finger Productions on the bus company.
Holla at your boy's transportation company.
Let's see what happened.
The Kankakee Elite cheer team is great with the moves, but they found themselves moving nowhere despite having this signed contract with a Dalton-based bus company. They paid more than $10,000 by check, zip.
Dalton.
Dalton.
See what happens when your town is ran by single mothers?
Oh my God.
Kiki and Mookie's transportation company. We're gonna take you for a
Please, not that
ride.
name. Please stop saying that name, Charles. Please, I don't need that Drake song in my head all of a sudden.
We're gonna be like Marvel vs. Capcom. We're gonna take you for a ride.
Held in cash.
The cheerleaders did a lot of sponsorship, a lot of donations, a lot of fundraising to get to this point. This is not a cheap trip.
Samuel Bus Service was supposed to take these girls to Tampa, Florida, where they hope to cheer their way to victory at a big tournament on Saturday.
Cheering really makes me happy. It keeps me active.
Instead, they wound up sleeping on the floor of this Kankakee middle school when the owner of the bus company claimed the driver had a serious illness.
It was very cold and it was just not fair. And just having to sleep in a school was very, very uncomfortable. And I just couldn't sleep.
Then the excuse involved a broken airline on the bus, a promise of another bus. Oh, and Samuel's other driver supposedly passed away from a major heart attack.
And we got scammed.
God damn.
That he took these parents and these cheerleaders hard-working money.
Samuel Parks even provided phone numbers for that replacement bus that were disconnected. The team begged with Parks via text to help, but he never answered.
I called over 100 times from my number. Another number, our treasurer called over 50, 60 times. Had another person call. He never reached back to us.
But we found Samuel Parks with the same phone number and also based in Dalton is no longer authorized by the U.S. Department of Transportation. His business license in the state of Illinois also no good as of...
You see that?
Dalton.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. Sorry, hold on. Let me.
As of what? As of when?
Hold on. Wait, she'll say it.
His business license in the state of Illinois also no good as of 2023.
I'm very upset right now, very hurt.
Which brings us back to these girls who waited all night for their bus that never showed.
I'm excited about showcasing my talent.
And then the adults jumped into action. They found another bus company to take the girls to Tampa. But the team had to come up with $13,000 in just a few days. So they launched this GoFundMe page. Stranded cheerleaders need your support. They boarded a bus that actually showed up ready for their 17-hour journey. They're hoping to come home champions.
This is about these young women that worked very hard to get to where they're at.
and I really hope we get first place.
And we'll be sure to follow up and let you know how these cheerleaders do down in Florida. The team also plans to report the bus fiasco to authorities. In the newsroom, Dorothy Tucker, CBS News Chicago, investigators.
We've learned the bus company lost its Department of Transportation right to operate back in January of this year after its insurance policy was canceled by the insurer. We tried to reach Samuel Parks multiple times, but he ignored our calls as well.
Of course.
Now at 5:30.
That's when you go take a club to that motherfucker.
And don't
Here's my
stop
question.
till you get fired.
Here's my question. Maybe Charles or maybe Snowman might answer this for me. Why wasn't the school providing transportation for the team in the first place?
That's a long drive. That's a long drive.
It might be one, a broke ass school, and two, it might not. The school may not be affiliated with the cheerleaders.
Yeah.
And I'll supply a third. Reason: the school itself didn't expect these young girls to go as far as they did.
Nope.
Therefore, they did not have a contingency plan in place.
Thank you very much, Snowman.
Seen it, been there, done that. You know that's why I stopped messing. Broadcast-wise, that's why I stopped messing with public schools, because
they're broke.
Exactly. Even Whitney Young High School wouldn't help me out when I covered them back in 2007. I had to get to every game that I was scheduled to get to. When I was with Marquette Catholic some 5 years later, and they went on their run to a state championship, they let me ride with the team to every game that I was scheduled to call. End of story. They let me ride with the team to every single game, and there was no complaints from the administrators. Hell, the administrators set it up. The administrators and the athletic director set the whole thing up, and they told me in advance, if we go all the way to the state championship, or no matter how far we get in the state tournament, you're coming with us to every single game.
I'm glad they took care of those girls. You know, I mean, I know how we have our issues with adult women, but these are just little girls. They didn't do nothing wrong to nobody.
Right, they didn't do nothing wrong.
That was so sad to look at those little girls in the hallway. See, that's when you there's some things you go up into somebody's office and you put a fucking gun to their head. Like, seriously, you don't do that to little girls and rip them off.
Right, that's
when they work so hard to get to a state championship competition.
That's how you make villain stories.
13 grand is nothing to sneeze at either.
13 grand is nothing to sneeze at, but again, a contingency plan should have been in place just in case for something like this, just in case the girls did get as far as they did.
This is what happens when you book through the internet instead of actually going to the brick and mortar.
Yep.
You go to something like that. You're talking about taking a bunch of little girls to Florida and back.
Yeah,
you need to go walk through the front door of the place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let me check your BBB. let me make sure your officers are clean and representing whatnot. You got some guy with grease stains on his white beater, old baseball cap.
First and foremost, let me make sure your office. First and foremost, let me make sure your office exists.
Yeah.
Holla at your boy Productions.
Shoot.
Hey,
when we moved into this house, the movers, he had to go. This fool, he went and rented a U-Haul truck. I told him several times, come stop by the house, take a look. I got a lot of stuff. You say it's a 4-bit? Yeah. It's cool. I'll get a big enough truck. I'm like, no, man. I got like 3 living room sets. You need to come take a look. Just send me some pictures. Okay. Sent him pictures. And sure enough,
to take the house and take it with him.
I had to make trips in my car. My neighbor had to use his pickup truck because these fools left a lot of stuff because they didn't pack it. Not only did they not pack the truck right, but they didn't have the truck was too small to begin with.
Anybody remember the movie Moving with Richard Pryor from '87?
Vaguely, but yes.
Think that.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Think that.
I'm gonna say this. This is the type of shit that gives black-owned business a really bad name. Okay. You look at my website, right? Motherfuckers will look at my website and you barely know it was a black person who owns the bitch. You know, we got a couple of sprinkles of Negroes there, you know. And what really traumatizes it is that nobody wants to hire black business because a lot of black businesses, let's just say it, it's janky. And as a black business owner, I don't like dealing with black people because they're janky as fuck.
You get burned.
Had to deal with
not all the time, but half the time. Half the time you get burned. You get burned. The fool broke the button off the dryer because he didn't have the dryer on the dolly right. You're supposed to have the back of the washer or the dryer is supposed to be on the back of the dolly. He had it the other way. So when it came down off the step, it twisted and fell, boom, and the dryer button completely broke off. And then the guy who I hired to do it, I just used some glue on that. I'm like, no, dude, this thing is completely broken off. It has to be completely replaced.
What you mean replace?
Huh?
What you mean replace, nigga?
Yeah, he didn't want to hear none of that.
Exactly.
That's all right, because he wound up losing a lot of money because the truck got stuck. Because by the time they got here to the house, it started raining. It was raining. So the truck got stuck in the front yard and he wound up tearing up the axle on a rented U-Haul truck.
Rain on me.
Yeah. Then he had to hire one of them industrial tow trucks to pull it out and haul it back to U-Haul.
Oh boy, that insurance company looked at him rubbing their arms behind a tree.
Yep. But that's what the hell he get. Because
and then think about it. Know what you're trying to get into. You think I was going to take BlurCon without seeing where the fuck this shit was being held?
No, not at all.
Even though I was there the
same
year
with
before.
Same with me. I sure as hell didn't, without having a chance to take a look at Bankers Life Fieldhouse and where I was going to be broadcasting for a championship. And that's what every stadium I'm invited to come to. You don't go anywhere, and Charles, thank you for repeating this to me when I started getting the big gigs. You don't go anywhere without getting a lay of the land.
No, you have to. You don't know what your equipment can take.
Right.
You don't know. There's a lot of fundamentals that. Let's say you want to know where the bathrooms are at least.
Right. Right.
Oh my
so
God.
very right.
Always take wet wipes.
Oh.
Always take wet wipes.
Arrgh. Especially if you have a turtle head.
When I got a chance to do some baseball at the old Metrodome, I called around. I tried to get in touch with the folks who were broadcasting for the Twins and for the Vikings, even though the state of Minnesota was familiar to me because I used to live there. I wanted to see which box I would be broadcasting from and what the view was, because until that point, which was 2010, I had only seen it from a television standpoint. Well, the folks I got in contact with shot me some pictures of where I'd be broadcasting from, where it was in relation to being behind home plate and everything. When I got there, I was ready to rock.
But
there's no but to it. I got there, I was ready to rock, and I knocked out 6 games. It's to Charles's point of and to you guys' point of being fundamentally prepared.
Any horror stories before we move on to the actual crash out? I'm back to the crash outs.
Uh-oh.
Let's see the next one.
Okay.
Please.
Now at 5:30, a man arrested after police say he left the scene of a crash and trespassed onto someone's property.
NBC6's Sophia Hernandez joins us live from the neighborhood where this happened. And Sophia, the homeowner shot at this man who was arrested?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The homeowner telling police that he awoke to this.
Wait. What do y'all see? What do you see? Come on, y'all don't see it?
Besides the troll?
No. You don't see the eyebrows.
I mean, Arch,
Luigi.
I mean, her brows are arched like a villain.
Luigi. Found your sister, bro. All right, let me stop.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The homeowner telling police that he awoke to the sounds of his dog barking. He looked out the window to find a man in his backyard. He asked that man to show his hands and leave. In fear, he shot him 2 times.
Wow.
34-year-old Whitney Liberal arrested Sunday night after he fled the scene of a crash and jumped into the backyard of this home.
It's the first time in 30 years.
In Florida.
It was not like robbery or something. It was more someone escaping from something that he did.
Neighbors saying they heard the gunshots Sunday morning. Arrest documents show that the homeowner heard their dog barking, looked out their window, and saw their ladder had been moved to lean against a tall wall in their backyard that butts against I-75. The homeowner grabbed his gun, went to their balcony, and found Liberal on the floor. Police say the homeowner asked him to show his hands, but in fear for his family and his life, the homeowner shot Liberal twice.
I hear a woman like screaming, like, no, something like that.
Police say that the 34-year-old was taken to Ryder Trauma Center, where, according to arrest documents, he told police he and 2 others left a crash scene where his vehicle rolled over. Liberal told police his foot broke in the accident. The 2 others left him behind. He came here, calling his girlfriend to pick him up, allegedly crawling on the floor when he was shot by the scared homeowner. Now, Liberal admitted to having cash, marijuana, and pills in his possession. He is being charged with possessing a controlled substance, possessing marijuana, and trespassing. Now, as for this family, as you can imagine, they say that they are fearful and anxious, just wanting to put this behind them. Reporting live, Sophia Hernandez, NBC6 News.
Get that ass. Get that ass. That's a lot to take. That's what she said.
It is what it is.
I got nothing.
You're going to go in somebody's house uninvited in a stand your ground law state. You got to be the dumbest nigga in captivity.
What's
in
the
Florida?
sound I'm looking for? What's the sound I'm looking for? Well,
In
first
Florida.
this. First this.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This.
No!
This.
No!
This.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
And
Are you kidding me?
This dude. And oh, by the way, where's Black Lesbian Mansions? Isn't this their type of thing that they be crying about?
Of
You
course.
got a
What?
black man.
Wasn't this a racisms?
So,
That's a racism.
he said racisms. He pluralized it.
I'm trying to figure. Oh, that's right. I was trying to figure out why they ran, but she did mention they had pills and stuff on them. So in other words, you had a band of merry criminal men with loaves of bread and mayo and lunch meat going to grandma's house to make her a sandwich for her birthday. And they rolled over the car, probably because the driver was on a narcotic, or maybe they were in the middle of making sandwiches while driving. Who knows? Rode the car and ran because it's illegal to have an open container of Hellmann's while driving.
And don't forget a little bit of white stuff, you know, a little booger sugar.
Yeah, a little booger sugar. Well, you know, that's for spice. In Florida, that's like 11 herbs and spices.
You know, that's
So
how
you're
they
talking
make
about nostril cleaner?
nostril cleaner.
little
You know, Ajax for the nose.
little Ajax, little you know, your little splice.
Hey, babe, have y'all covered that Duke Lacrosse heifer coming out and saying she didn't, you know, she lied the whole time?
Oh no, she's gonna be the last story.
Okay.
She's gonna be last. Don't you worry. But this guy right here, I mean, you, this is, you know, play stupid games. Yeah, play stupid games.
Win stupid prizes.
We're trying to help very strongly in getting the hostages back, as you know, with Israel and the Middle East. We're working very much on that. We're trying to get the war stopped, that horrible war that's going on in Ukraine, Russia, Ukraine. We're going to, we've got a little progress. It's a tough one. It's a nasty one. It's nasty. People are being killed at levels that nobody's ever seen. You know, it's very level fields, and the only thing that stops a bullet is a body, a human body. And the number of soldiers that are being killed on both sides is astronomical. I've never seen anything like that. And rapidly, I get reports every week, and it's not even, you know, it's like just they're going down. Nobody's seen anything like it. It's a very flat surface, a very flat land. That's why it's great farming land. It's the breadbasket for the world, actually. But it's very flat, and there's nothing to stop a bullet but a body. There's no protection, no nothing. And it's what's happening there is far worse than people are reporting for both sides. So we're going to do our best, and we've been doing our best, and we'll see what happens. But since the election, I've been working every day to put the world at ease a little bit, to get rid of the wars. We had no wars when I left office, and now it's the whole world is blowing up. But there's great optimism, and you saw that by SoftBank. Starting on day one, we'll implement a rapid series of bold reforms to restore our nation to full prosperity. We're going to go full prosperity and to build the greatest economy the world has ever seen, just as we had just a short time ago. We had it in my term. We had the greatest economy that the world had seen. We were blowing away everybody. Our country was doubling up on China, doubling up on everybody, and everybody knows it. And then we had to slow it down with COVID, unfortunately, at the end. But even then, I gave it back with a substantial increase of the stock market, bigger than it was pre-COVID. So it was pretty amazing. Already preparations are underway to slash massive numbers of job-killing regulations, eliminating 10 old regulations for every new one. You put a new regulation on, you have to get rid of 10, and we'll be able to do it. And that was about the percentage we had. We cut more regulations than any president has ever cut, by far, actually, by approximately 5 times. Some of those regulations, unfortunately, were put back on, but we'll catch up very quickly. We'll catch up with the world. We're trying.
I think that
Typical Trump.
I think that Trump legitimately wants that shit to stop because, you know, for several reasons, because a lot of people want the killing to stop, man. We just got out of 20 years of Afghanistan and 12 years of Iraq. I'm not an expert, but I kind of know how that fucking feels. a little bit, sort of. Then you got to think of the amount of money we've been spending for these two goddamn wars, man. It's not cute. It's not cute at all. And frankly, you're going to end up with a lot of shit that's being blown out of proportion or taken to another level if this shit keeps going up. And I've never seen so many people who want them to fail, but you forget if your president failed, guess who's going to take the blunt of that fucking shit? They are held, like, this administration is hell bent on a lot of stupid shit, but these liberal ass motherfuckers are too blind to see shit. Anybody else want to speak on that?
You've echoed my thoughts.
Yep.
Because Trump bad. Trump bad.
When you see warmongering to that point.
By the way,
Do it?
I gotta call bullshit on one thing. The son of a bitch has said there was no wars during his administration. I call bullshit. November 2020. Northern Ethiopia. You had a conflict there. And shit got really serious after this change of power. But nobody gave a fuck about what's going on there because everybody was so focused on what was going on in Ukraine.
Well, what did the U.S. do?
Not a goddamn thing.
Well, then it no wars, no U.S. wars.
U.S. was not involved in any wars, true, but
Then what are you talking about?
he said no wars were going on when he was in power. Was
That
he
the
talking about
U.S.
wars-
were involved in.
American involvement.
Right.
Oh, okay, I stand corrected then. If he had said
Yeah.
that, okay, but he was just being very vague.
But even during that
Some
conflict,
bitches, yeah.
even during that conflict,
Mhm.
how many other
Oh,
countries
shit.
got it? How many countries got involved in it?
Let's see. Until it was finally confirmed, it was denied that Eritrea was involved in that one.
So you got to think that's a small conflict compared to somebody. Imagine if the United States would have sent weapons and $200 billion to Ethiopia and Eritrea.
Well, Eritrea was under an arms embargo at the time. No, it came off the arms embargo, but
But I'm just saying, just
countries are part of
imagine,
BRICS. But I see what you're saying.
but just imagine
I
if
think-
you would have got that level of weaponry and money, like you would have made
Oh, it
that
would've-
amount of
it would
that
have
amount of
made
money.
98, 2004 worse.
that amount of money and weaponry they gave you would have made that Eritrea and Ethiopia area pretty much a powerhouse in Africa.
Another conflict would have been also Ethiopia.
They would have swallowed. You got to understand something. That's more than some of those countries' GDP.
Absolutely, way more.
So you got to think they would have swallowed other countries with that type of weaponry and money. They would have literally bought other countries out,
Look at
or forced them out because they had the weapons to do so. They would have made, and that's not shitting on Ethiopia, Eritrea, their conflict.
I appreciate that, Charles.
Not shitting on it, but the reason why we're saying it's different is because one, it was regional.
Okay.
Two, if you look at Ukraine and Russia, this shit can almost start a world war.
Absolutely.
And it's not saying y'all didn't have a conflict. Yes, it was bloodshed. It's fucked up. It should stop. And I'm with that. But the only difference is the type of weaponry and the type of money was given. If you would have gave that area, that region, that money, you would have took over like what? You would have took over Eastern Africa easily. That literally almost no country would rival them.
Especially if you look at the topography of both nations, it's hard to conquer them.
Yeah.
I mean, Sudan tried to do in the 1890s. The Mahdiya movement in Sudan went to war with them in retaliation of other things. And and they knew it was not a good idea to try to invade them, because you try to push them up, they could just tactically retreat into the highlands where they have the high grounds.
You
And
know,
the
and
Mahdi's did not have cannons. They did not
you
have the
got to
cannons.
realize that area of Ethiopia. Well, you already realize you're from the motherfucker. It's hills, nothing but fucking hills. That's
Rugged hills. It's part of the East African Rift Valley. If you ever saw the topography of that whole region, all the way from Mozambique, going all the way into the Red Sea, into like the Levant, is part of a tectonic plate collision there. I remember watching a documentary about the history of the Red Sea and everything. Man, you'd be surprised the topography and geography of that area, how it's all been affected.
Yeah, you got to realize is that you would have been the powerhouse, and I mean, if you're on that side of Africa with that level of money and weaponry, you would have been part of the Silk fucking Road.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, look at Ethiopia right now. It's trying to make itself a powerhouse because, if you understand, it's issues with Egypt and Sudan right now over its hydroelectric dam.
200 billion would have solved that shit.
That could have been fixed, but then again, other neighboring countries are also threatened because one of those countries in particular is Somalia, because Ethiopia is the source of one of their main important rivers in the southern part, called the Juba River. You dam that, southeastern the southern part of Somalia, which is the breadbasket of the region, might be affected, and they're worried about that. Other couple, also South Sudan, same thing. South Sudan, Kenya, same thing.
Menelik II kicked the shit out of him the first time, and
Menelik. Menelik II did. He came to
That was the
power in
first time.
1890.
That was the first time they kicked Italy's ass. The second time was under.
No, the second time. Menelik was the second time. The first time was in January of 1887, the Battle of Dogali. That happened in Eritrea. That was John IV.
Yeah, they also faced him in World War II.
Ooh, man, it was butt ugly during World War II.
Well, but they beat him.
Yeah, they did.
But they don't tell the story. But a lot of Black Americans also helped.
They wanted to come, but there was a lot who wanted to come. But I would say this: when they came, they would have had problems to communicate with them. There was culture shocks. Not meant to mention, plenty of Armenians who were part of the Armenian community in Ethiopia were fighting on the sides of the Ethiopians against this. There were certain Eritreans who had left home and joined the other side, simply because many of them can converse with them and they have cultural ties with them. Oh, by the way, I appreciate y'all bearing with me here on this conversation.
No, because it's basically bridging what we said about the reason why there wasn't really any wars. It's not considered a war.
Yeah, it was a conflict, but it did have a lot of ramifications.
It had ramifications. We're not bullshitting you, but when you look at Ukraine and Israel, and
Israel is.
I mean, Ukraine, like he just said, a lot of and Lewis could go into it. A lot of your fertilizer and your wheat comes from that fucking region around
black
the world.
soil. The black soil of the southwestern part, especially in
that war alone made all your fucking food rise.
Food crisis.
And then you got Russia fuels 80% of fucking Europe.
In fact, here's something to think about, Charles. Was it either earlier this year or last year when Russia held that summit with all those African countries? 5 of those countries, as a show of their loyalty for their alliance with, as reward for their alliance with Russia, received free shipments of wheat. One of them was Eritrea, and this was after the president had that summit in Moscow personally the year prior.
Yeah, you gotta realize something. It's that the next 4 years is gonna be something, man.
The next 4 years after that as well, but then again, we have to consider what's going to happen in the next 2 years. Remember, you got the midterms, and a lot can happen in the next 2 years.
Yeah, and I mean that's part of the that's part of the pain of it.
And I'm sometimes, I just get a little. I get a little irritated sometimes, because sometimes I don't understand like how certain conflicts get overlooked because there's so many conflicts in Africa. Look what's going on in Sudan. The shit in South Sudan hasn't been resolved yet. And I can tell you that whole region, what happens in one part of that Horn of Africa region has a tendency to spill over to other parts. Like the droughts that took place in 2021 that still haven't been sorted out. You know what I'm saying? And there's a social, economic, and political ramifications of all this. And there's still a lot of shit going on in that region. It's still a hotbed. There's so many powers. One of them, old power, who hasn't really made their presence felt there since their fall in the 19th century. And I'm talking about the Ottoman Turks. But think about it that way. That whole region is still vital to world shipping trade. Because remember, that Red Sea, Gulf of Aden connects the Mediterranean with the Indian Ocean and the greater rest of the world. Because because people forget the dangers of shipping lanes trying to go through the south, through South Africa, through the Cape, to the Cape region. How tumultuous the waters are there.
I mean,
yeah.
right now, with all the money they spent on these goddamn wars, we could have made the Sahara Desert green.
Like several thousand years ago.
Huh?
Like several thousand years ago. Hell, Sudan would have been an archaeological hotspot other than Egypt. You'd be surprised how many archaeological sites are there.
Where do you think the original Egyptians went?
No.
I mean,
Louis, you've been awfully quiet. This is your area of expertise.
Louis, you okay?
Well, I was going to say something, but Namer went before me. And no shade thrown, no shade. I was saying that the American public is basically fatigued from war over the past 20 years. You got to think about it.
That I can agree with. Like that, I can agree with.
You have, especially now, the American public is seeing the true cost of war with numerous homeless veterans. It been exposed years ago how inadequate that the VA is. You have plenty. You see the byproducts of the tolls of war that it does psychologically and mentally on people. And also, one of the big things they really did not address, and maybe the technology, the information wasn't found, but with all those IED explosions, even if you survive it, is like a concussion. And now you're having a lot of veterans that is getting seizures and having symptoms of like ZTE.
That's true.
From that. But you got to think about it. Since 9/11, we've been in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, the Horn of Africa. We was in the Philippines.
Also the Western Sahara region with Niger and whatnot in recent years.
Down in South America. Not mentioned because there was a lot of covert stuff that was going on there.
The Balkan regions in the 90s, since the 90s.
Yeah, of course.
But let's not forget also, Louis, the number of veterans who make up a significant chunk of the opioid crisis. Because remember how many veterans have been dealing with, because going back to the 90s, how many of these painkillers like oxycodone and everything, people did not realize how addictive they were, especially because they were opioids and whatnot. How many, you know what? Now I'm going to have to bring something from my own childhood. I remember 4th of July weekend, 1987. Landover, Maryland. There was a benefit concert they had for Vietnam veterans. One of the hosts was John Ritter.
All right, hold on a second.
Okay.
Make it quick and give Louis some air to breathe.
I'm sorry.
I already lost my train of thought. Sorry.
But here's what to sum it up. There was a poet who was a Vietnam vet who summed it up with his poem. He said, and he was talking about veterans from Vietnam. He said, "You lost them to bullets and entrapment, alcohol, jail, drugs, suicide, post-traumatic stress, but never did you lose them to the truth that still plagues this nation." Amen, brothers. That also applies to many of those who served during the war on terror. If I'm wrong, I admit it. But find the line what I just said. Louis, would you disagree with what I just said?
I have to research that.
I'll try to find the concert. It was broadcasted by HBO in '87. It's called Welcome Home. Forgot the poet's name, but it was really interesting what he said. Speaking of which, Charles, you got to ask yourself, how many more names have been added to the memorial wall in DC?
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Oh,
Like Trump was saying.
sorry, babe.
No, you're fine. You're doing your name. I ain't mad at it.
That's why we love him.
As Trump said, he was talking about when he was president. He said ISIS and the Taliban were fighting each other, and the generals wanted to get involved. He was like, "For what? Like they're our enemies. Let them kill each other. Why would we get involved?" What he didn't tell you was that the reason why the generals wanted to get involved was so they could make money and help kill each other, help them kill each other and make money. And it's like, no, I'm not putting servicemen and wasting military money just so you guys can fire off your firecrackers and cash out.
Complex.
Yeah, like I'm not doing that. That's why when he was in office, there were no wars that the U.S. was involved in because it was unnecessary. You're killing people for sport. I'd rather have a conversation with you than bomb your children. Doesn't that make better sense?
Yeah.
What's up, Dusty?
This is what I wanted to say. Okay, all right. What this idiot Biden has done, one, you got a nuclear power in Russia that's being brought to the brink of probably launching a nuclear missile. Two, Biden has done something that no one thought could ever be done. Because of his incompetence, he's probably going to unite all of Islam. Shiites and Sunnis have been beefing for so long, and now with this stuff going on in Israel, you're probably going to have the Shiites and the Sunnis unite over this thing over in Palestine, and it's gonna destroy the fragile the fragility of the Middle East.
I have no words on that one because you already know what I'm saying about these libtards, man. They don't see it. You get what I'm saying? They don't see it. And see, this is the bad part. 3 of us seen military service or conflict. Trust me, there are no real winners.
Only losers and survivors.
And the sad part is, in the long run, you really wonder who was the unlucky one.
Y'all ready for the next crash out?
Let me say this: you got with Ukraine, you got your food chain disrupted because of the wheat and the sunflower oil and everything going on there. That caused the the rise of prices in food and shortages also, because companies had to add different ingredients to compensate for the food distribution being disrupted with the wheat harvest and everything. And that caused that all around the world, because Russia and Ukraine sends wheat all around the world, and it did an indirect effect on the distribution of rice.
And how
Because
many countries?
India, can I finish?
Sorry.
India had to stop their export of rice because they couldn't get vital ingredients themselves. And the thing with the Middle East, you're disrupting the energy. This has the potential. We could be back in the 70s with the peanut farmer, Jimmy Carter, when you had all those embargoes and everything on the oil. If that thing explodes in the Middle East, do you think we're going to be getting oil?
No.
You know how pissed Puffy would be?
Oh, baby oil, yeah.
Take that.
Like, not that type of oil, Puffy. Oh, well, I'm in prison. I use anything. Anyway, no, but you're right. You're right, though. You're right. I mean, this is why he's been drilling. This is why he said, "Drill, baby, drill." We have to base. Okay, if you know where I'm going with this, I'll let you take it, Lewis. Hello.
Yeah. What? Go ahead.
If you know where I'm going, okay, I'll tell it. The way America, because of Biden, the Biden administration, America has lost a lot of its grip and influence in Africa and the Middle East. A lot of those African countries that U.S. was depending on for its resources, stripping them of their resources under the form of, or the lie of protection. I mean, they were running a Gestapo operation. Those countries wound up signing with BRICS. Not only that, they also had China come in and take over. They took over. You had Russia and China kick the U.S. out of those territories. You had countries rejecting the United States. So now the countries that they were strong arming for resources, they can't do it anymore. They have to now turn inward. What are you going to do? You're going to go down the south, which I don't know why they didn't do that. You should have went to South America first instead of Africa. It's the same goddamn continent. It's just closer. Like, why didn't you do that? You should have been strip mining. You should have been strip mining South America. There's plenty of oil reserves and gold and silver and diamonds and copper and all of that stuff all over the planet, but definitely in those warmer climates.
But a lot of our fruits and vegetables come from South America.
No, I get it, but it's like you've already you messed up. Now you got to start all over. So now here you are. You have to drill into your own soil, which is what America didn't want to do because they like their mountain ranges and their blue skies and all of that stuff. And now you have to start your second industrial revolution, which you had to do anyway because the infrastructure is falling apart. But now you have to do your second industrial revolution just like you did on your first. You have to rely on yourself. You have to become self-reliant in order to bring down the cost of energy and food, gas, etc. Because now you're not paying tariffs or taxes. You don't have to deal with shipping or anything like that. It's right there, homegrown. All right.
I got a question.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll get a bullet train.
Oh my God! If I have to tweet Elon that shit, I'm gonna keep fucking tweeting him until somebody up there says something.
All right.
What were you gonna say, neighbor?
Regarding the oil industry, because you also got to consider, like, when it comes to drilling, you also have to consider oil refinery, and that depends on the quality of the oil in question and how it's going to be extracted. Correct?
Dude, the United States is sitting on some primo oil.
It's called Alaska.
They don't want to touch it. Because if you touch it, then what are you doing?
And plus, different grades of oils have different benefits. It's just not for gasoline or diesel. There's a lot of other things that the different grades of oil is used for.
That's
Yeah.
true.
You got
So my
Pepsi, you got cereals, you got clothing, you know, I mean, you got all sorts of things oil is used for, you know, children's vaccines. I'm kidding. But
Vaseline.
right, I mean, you so many different, but the whole point of it is that, you know, the US doesn't want to dip into its reserves or its resources or dig into its land. Because the more you use of it, then the less you have. And when this, and I mean, this stuff is finite. Eventually you're going to find yourself right back into the same situation unless you start making different type of uses of energy. This is why I think it was last night, Charles, with you. I hardly remember a lot of that. I was talking about the solar paneling. Yeah, like you have to find some sort of way to reduce your use of oil. I mean your use of natural resources. You need to start using your like sunlight, wind. What was that? The pyramids. The original pyramids were not for tombs. They were power grids, wireless power grids. At some point, you're going to have to stop fucking around, lining other people's pockets, fat cats' pockets, and you're gonna have to go to that. Because if you don't, you're gonna destroy the planet. You think people are starving in Africa and in America now? Wait till rich people find themselves starving. You know, this whole eat the rich. Like, yeah, you don't have to eat the rich. They'll eat themselves. They'll eat themselves. You don't have to pull a Batman dystopian future type of situation. You don't have to shoot a CEO in the back. Their world is crumbling. What do you think is going on in Hollywood right now? Their world is crumbling. The entertainment market is, as far as mass media, well, their media is dying. If they don't do something quick, they're fucked. Younger people, matter of fact, they were talking about this. I know I'm getting a little off topic, but this goes, you know, this is a prime example. So I'm watching Cleveland Browns sports show this morning, right? And for those of y'all that don't know, the Browns are looking to build a new stadium outside of Cleveland, which means the city will not get the tax money. All right? They won't get the tax money. If you're familiar with the Browns, you know the product is bad. But the owner is locked in on building this new stadium that's going to cost like $1 billion something. The problem is that, and this is going on with a lot of NFL teams, the younger generation, people that are like under the age of 30, they're quickly losing interest in football. You understand? They're losing interest in football. They could care less. You see, you got the linebacker that just quit for the 49ers because he didn't want to play. Picture that now coming into the league where I play when I feel like it. Caleb Williams, prime example. I want to stake in the team. These younger kids, it's like if there's nothing in it for them, they're not going to go out here and hurt themselves as players and as fans. They would rather make TikTok videos, YouTube videos, kick in people's doors, steal cars.
Streaming on Twitch.
Yeah, streaming on Twitch. They'd rather do internet-based stuff than go and spend 4 hours around a bunch of drunken bastards, you know what I'm saying, yelling, screaming in your face at what they would consider to be a boring football game.
Not to mention also the number of people who are unable to who can get like season tickets, right?
Right, plus the cost. But the whole thing is that when you start to drain your resources like that, when people aren't paying attention anymore because the product is bad, you lose. The rich wind up eating themselves. Who you gonna put on the hook for that? The people? No. You made that deal. You fronted the money. Because you wanted to cut us out. You talk about spite and cutting off your nose to spite your face. This is what's going on, not just in all entertainment circles. In all entertainment circles. Why YouTube is the number one watched media conglomerate in the world. Second to Netflix. By the way, if you haven't seen it, that Jamie Foxx special is it's funny, but it's very heartwarming. When his daughter came out to play the guitar,
Celine.
yeah, oh my God, that little girl. Those were the real tears. I mean, damn, her daddy almost died. Anyway, I'm getting off topic, but
No, it's okay. It was beautiful. It was beautiful because I saw.
Yeah, it was very beautiful. Yeah,
especially
people.
with natural hair.
Not what? There's nothing wrong with her hair.
No, I said her hair was natural. It was beautiful. How she
Oh
did
yeah,
her hair.
okay, yeah, because she's an artist. You couldn't even see her face. She was like a cartoon character of herself. You couldn't even see what she looked like. She had so much hair and a big old puffy afro.
Yeah, I miss my fro.
Yeah.
That day at one time.
But at any rate, what I'm saying is that if you don't do something fast, especially as America, if you don't do something fast that really benefits people concerning energy, food, all right, crime, immigration, if you don't get this shit done within the next 2 years, if people don't see significant progress, then you're going to lose those primaries in 2 years. You're going to lose those primaries. You're going to lose seats back to Democrats. But if you can actually start rounding these motherfuckers up, busting them the fuck we don't give a fuck where you go. But once you cross this line here, you come across it again, we will shoot your ass, or we'll just throw you in a prison labor camp and work you to death if you're lucky. But you're not welcome here. You start bringing food costs down, gasoline prices go down. In 2 years, them Republicans, they're going to retain those seats. Just start showing promises. That's all you got to do. Just start moving on those promises. And in the war in Ukraine, if you can get that under wraps before the summer. I know CNN and MSNBC, he said he'd have it ended in a day. Well, goddamn, bitch. He got it done in 6 months. That's not enough for you? Never satisfied, are you, Joyless Reed? You bald head bitch. Stop, babe. Stop.
That's the wrong network, but yeah, fair enough.
Stop.
Who wants to listen to that Congolese jackass?
I'm just saying, you get that stuff done, you start moving, don't worry, you'll be fine. You get JD Vance, you give him some side projects, he start making stuff move, you'll be fine. The biggest thing that you have to do now as president, not just as Trump, but as president, with the House and the Senate and the Congress fully backing you, because it's a majority Republican Congress. You start getting shit done. Trust me, you'll be all right. The American people will back you, and they'll back Vance for another 4 years. And if he can keep shit going, he'll get another 4 years. But if you don't, if you start faltering, shit start falling apart because the Democrats, I'm going to say it right now. When their biggest thing is this immigration situation, throw them motherfuckers in jail. Any Democratic mayor or leader that wants to get in your way, that wants to harbor fugitives, throw their asses in jail. Ain't no Senate committee hearings or time wasting shit like that. Throw their asses in jail.
Here's a question.
Yes.
When was the last time in the commander-in-chief issued a martial law and put the country under martial law, emergency of martial law? Has there ever been a situation like that in United States history?
The only reason I could see why he would do something like that is because of the migrant crisis. Because the way I'm seeing it, the Democrats appear to be trying to start a civil war. That I mean, the way they're talking about this CEO being shot, you've got people getting the FBI slapping handcuffs on them. You got people getting fired, of course, because women cannot shut the fuck up to save their life. They got to jump on the internet, full face cam, and tell you how much they wish that they could shoot you too, and all of this stuff. I mean, they really think they can say whatever they want without consequence. They can do whatever they want without consequence on the internet.
It's called self-snitching.
Right. So, I mean, excuse me.
I mean, they
Hold on. Some of these illegals, they're gangs. All right, they're roving gangs of terrorists. Not to mention some of the terrorist cells from other countries that are here. They're not going to go quietly into the good night. All right?
Nope.
They're going to, by hook or crook, they're going to try to stay here. So you're looking at military battles with illegals in American cities. It's going to get very, very messy. This is the one thing that Trump isn't talking about, nor are the Democrats talking about it. Neither side is talking about how, hey, this could get messy. Some people gonna have to die. They gonna die. I mean, these guys are used to shooting it out with cops. To cops in SWAT gear. Do you understand? These ain't no goddamn, little 17-year-old carjackers with a little pistol grip thinking he tough because he got a switch on it. No. These are like guerrilla fighters.
AK-47 and brandishing.
Yeah,
having battle tests in certain cases.
Right. These guys know what it's like to fire a rocket launcher.
Oh yeah.
At a tank or a Jeep or something full of people. They ain't scared of shit.
People who've been training, possibly training asymmetrical warfare.
This is what I'm saying. The first thing you need to do, you need to start with that apartment complex in Aurora. You need to get the people out safely. The Americans, the people. Hey, leave that shit. Leave that shit. Fuck it. Is that teddy bear really worth your life? No. Your grandma's photo, is it worth your life? No. Then bring your ass. Come on, quietly. Let's go. Yeah. Don't make any. Yeah. Don't arouse suspicion. Just come on out. And once you get, huh?
You don't want to. Oh, go ahead, Charles.
I said it's sad, really, because a lot of this shit could have been fixed very quickly.
By simply not letting them in.
Yeah.
You don't want to have like.
And you got the motherfuckers up in Maryland. Yeah. They might not like Baltimore.
They likely to get jacked.
Hey, you know what? Dave? As far as the one in Aurora, the worst case scenario is like that movie, The Siege, regarding the SWAT team in Indonesia. If you remember, see that movie, The Siege.
I haven't.
Or you gotta see that movie.
But yeah, but
By the way, the martial art they use is called Silat.
Okay.
Really similar to Malaysia. Go
But to have American Democrat, no, I swear to God, we as black people, especially black men, we got to tell the Democratic Party to suck our fucking dicks. I don't know why the fuck we got. I mean, I know why, but I don't know why here in 2024 we at 77% ass kissing. That's ridiculous. At any rate, to have these,
yes, they just us.
Right. It's like to have these Democratic mayors, especially like a bitch nigga like Brandon Johnson, talking about I'm going to fight for my illegals. Like, nigga, is George Soros's check really worth that much to you? Because what you're talking about is really tantamount to treason. You do understand that, right? Why do you think the bitch in Denver changed her mind? Gavin Newsom? Yeah, fuck around. Fuck, I'm Trump, bitch. You gonna fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out what I'm gonna do. I swear to God, I'll fucking send a missile, a Superman missile, to break your ass off from the United States, and you'll have Snake Plissken coming to rescue a motherfucker. Cause I'll just cut you off. I'll cut you off. You crazy. You can have California. It's a shithole anyway. We can make new beachfront property. Get the hell. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't mean to go on a rant, but I mean, this is like, I can't understand why this problem, why people don't seem to understand just how huge it is and the dangers that you have created in your own home country. It's bad enough that it was already on a third world level socially, but now you've literally brought the third world to you.
Can somebody put up what LAP SWAT 1 just said? His comments. That's a very interesting scenario he just brought up right there.
Black Hawk Down situation or henpeck? Yeah.
Black Hawk Down.
This is, I mean, okay. You know what? Let's do one more crash out, and then we'll get out of here.
All right.
Y'all ready for the crash out?
Bring it.
All right. Oh, wrong one. Sorry, hold on. I thought it was in there. Oh, I think I know what happened. All right, hold on.
The world, we're trying to.
And here we go.
No one deserves to be sexually assaulted.
Nearly 20 years after Crystal Mangum falsely accused 3 Duke lacrosse players of raping her at a party, the former exotic dancer is now admitting publicly for the first time that she fabricated the story.
I testified falsely against them by saying that they raped me when they didn't, and that was wrong.
Mangum, now 46, making that admission on the Let's Talk with Kat podcast from a North Carolina prison where she is serving time for fatally stabbing her boyfriend in 2011.
I betrayed the trust of a lot of other people who believed in me.
In 2006, Mangum told police she was sexually assaulted by 3 men, Colin Finnerty, Reed Seligman, and David Evans, in a bathroom at a Duke lacrosse team party where she had been hired to perform. The blockbuster allegations igniting a national firestorm about race, class, and privilege on college campuses.
I think they might get away with it just because they have money.
Every member of the Duke University lacrosse team is innocent. You have all been told some fantastic lies.
The charges were ultimately dropped after no DNA, witness, or other evidence was found to back up Mangum's story. The players reached an undisclosed settlement with Duke University in 2007.
I hope that they can forgive me.
Colin Finnerty telling NBC News, I hope this time in jail makes her think about what the consequences are for her actions. Liz Kreutz, NBC News.
Oh, wait, there's more.
The impact of that experience on those boys, and now to hear from her now, it's been life-changing for all of them.
Absolutely. Hard to believe it's been so long. 2006.
Hey, thanks for...
The floor is yours, gentlemen.
I remember.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Louis.
Look, and I really don't talk about this. This really burns my ass because I am a victim of false allegations. Okay.
Oh.
I wanna hear Roly Poly. I want to hear all of them on ESPN because I remember them talking about this. I want everyone that had something to say where there was no evidence and they were charged in a court of public opinion instead of in a court. Now that this has come out, I want them to say, I was wrong. I got caught up in the emotions of the unfortunate things of the racial tensions that is in this country. and all this believe all women bullshit, this is the prime example where you just go off the cuff without all the evidence. And unfortunately, all the apologies in the world would not fix what probably happened to those young men.
Wow. I didn't know that, Louis.
Yeah.
But that is very poignant what you said. Me, I can tell you that when I thought about this whole story, I mean, I got caught up in it when I was younger because, you know, I was naive.
You want to know why she's in jail now? She has set her boyfriend on fire.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. I heard she murked him, but I didn't know that's how she did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the thing I understand is, like, you know, the biggest losers in that situation was Duke lacrosse. Because remember, not all the players on that team were white. There were a couple of black guys on that team, a couple of black students as well. And so,
at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that they or white or whatever. You had men, innocent men, whose lives were turned upside down.
yeah, many of them had to transfer to other schools. Duke lacrosse, because remember at the time of this alleged incident, which didn't take place, of this falsehood, this was they were the national champion in lacrosse. This was Duke University's national champions in the NCAA of lacrosse. But after this incident, a lot of those players had to transfer to other schools, and the athletic department, you know, ended up left holding the bag, and shit just got really fucked up for them. Some of these guys were able to move on, go to other schools, many of whom graduated with degrees and whatnot, and were able to live their lives.
Do you know what a stigma like that puts on you as a man?
Patrice O'Neal is a prime example of such a situation. Because if you remember Patrice's story, Louis.
I met Patrice O'Neal.
Yeah. He talked about what happened to him in the late 80s when he was falsely accused. Now, unfortunately for him, and I understand he was 16 at the time, but this is the mid 80s. This is like a couple years before Central Park 5 up in this still place in Boston, and Boston is quite draconian. They ended up got tried. He and one of his cohorts, one of his alleged co-defendants, were tried as adults, and they were 16. Now, fortunately, they did 2 months, but Patrice had to spend the rest of his life with his name on the offenders registry. They eventually did not. And eventually, you know, that caught up with him one time in 2010, I believe it was, when he tried to drive to Montreal to take part in the Montreal Comedy Festival. And, you know, at the border, they checked him. He said, "We can't let you in." He also talked about how there was like this French Canadian border officer who was real feminine, and who was a woman, and she was just like really grilling him, giving him, you know, the blow dry treatment of sorts. And he decided, you know what, it's all right. I'm just going to turn my car and leave. I'm not signing anything. I'm just going to go back. And he talks about that incident on Opie and Anthony. He told the story of what happened to when he was 16 on Opie and Anthony, and they were like shocked. And why they brought up this, because how this came up was they were discussing the conviction, that is, was when they were talking about underage male students getting involved with their teachers, female teachers, that is. But these accusations and shit, I mean, that's why Patrice said what he said about what happened to Mike Tyson. Let's not forget what happened to Brian Banks, because they were falsely accused. And look what happens. They have had to deal with it, and they've had to deal with it. Now, fortunately for Banks, he was able to clear his name, but he lost nearly 6 years of his life because of it.
Speaking of Brian Banks,
mm-hmm.
let's be for real, okay? Brian Banks was locked up for that.
Yeah.
And what happens to people in jail with that charge?
he talked about nothing really happened to him. In fact, there's a
Right.
biopic movie about it.
Yeah, like let's be for real.
We know what happens
Let's
to
be
a
for
lot.
real. How many times we seen in the news where people were exonerated, where they were locked up 20, 30, 40 years for false allegations, and it came out that they did not do that crime.
Plenty of times in the past few years,
And
in the past decades.
imagine what possibly could have happened to them while incarcerated for that false accusation.
I mean, I can think of like, if you remember the Central Park Five, Corey Wise. Imagine what happened to him when he was incarcerated. In fact, they said he had to go. He's got the what you call houses in Virginia. I think he's talked about that.
Her crocodile tears, her saying, "I'm sorry. I hope they can forgive me. I refound white Jesus. I'm born again." Nothing can be said or given what was taken away from those individuals.
No.
Do you know, like with me, I'm gonna tell you a little about me. To this day, I have some who I thought was close friends and family members that still do not talk to me, although I was found innocent and it was proved that she lied. I have the signed document from the Superior Court judge showing. So, like, this is something I hold real close to me. People that actually do that crime should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. But likewise, those who lie about something like that should receive the same punishment as if a person has perpetrated that crime.
I mean, think about it this way, Louis. How many people? Because remember, there's some paperwork involved. She should be charged with filing a false report right there, first of all.
But nothing's going to happen. Well, she's already locked up, so that's the. And honestly, let's be for real. The reason that she's locked up is the only reason why she admitted to that. If she was out on the streets free, she would have never said nothing.
Yeah, that says something right there. And this is something I remember from Black Phillip. Women don't come from honesty. They only do the right thing when it's in their best interest to do so, or if there's something to gain from it. By the way, Louis, when regarding the Central Park Five, does the name Matias Reyes come to mind? Does that ring a bell?
I have the documentary, but I haven't watched it in like a couple of years. I have it on DVD. Was that the one that admitted to doing the crime?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he did admit
he was the actual perpetrator, and he admitted to doing it. Yeah,
and he found the reason because he saw Corey Wise. Because remember the other four members: Ray Santana Jr., Kevin Richardson, Antron McCray, and of course, Corey Wise's best friend, Yusuf Salam. We're all 14, 15 at the time. Corey Wise was 16 and he got tried as an adult. And he did cross paths a couple times with Reyes. The second time he crossed paths with Reyes looked at him, and Reyes apparently, probably must have found remorse and everything, found God. So realized he was still in there, decided to do the right thing by confessing. He confessed in 2002. Now, fortunately for him, he was in there for four other cases of the same shit he did.
He was a serial rapist.
Yeah, but because he confessed in 2002, they couldn't charge him with what happened to that the five were charged with because of statute of limitation. So he admitted to it just to get them out. Because the other four, they were already out and they were dealing with life with their names on the registration, life as parolees and whatnot, but Wise refused. And finally, when he confessed and, talked to the prosecutor at the time, and he was able to clear their names and everything, because he gave them all the information, the DNA and everything. Because remember, back in the late 80s, DNA forensics wasn't what it was, at the time. But in 2002, he provided them with everything, and that cleared the 5 of all wrongdoing. Eventually, and 4 of them eventually got their names cleared from the registry, I think. I should have had that done in the registry. They had their names cleared out of the registry by then. But when you think about it, man, Antoine McCrae, from the 4 of them, he's still the most emotionally scarred from all of it. Especially considering what happened when, because the sense of betrayal. Because like you said, the family members you don't talk to, he couldn't talk to his own father. He couldn't forgive his father for the sense of betrayal he went through. Being forced to confess to a crime he didn't do. That is the worst thing you can do to a child, is betray them. That's a lesson I learned many times in my life. So I understand what betrayal is like. Being deceived, being lied to and everything. People losing faith in you. Quick to judge you when you get accused of something. It angers me to no end at times, but I realize I gotta let it go before it just takes a toll and destroys me.
You're all right. Here's where I sit in this whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just like with this model trophy wife chick or whatnot, and the Trevor Bauer situation. And for the record, Trevor Bauer, he got accused twice. Second one was by a black chick. And that chick is in jail because she tried to run that extortion scheme on an even wealthier white man out in Arizona, and they threw her ass in prison for that. I'm surprised that the first chick didn't wind up going to prison for blackmail for what she did to Trevor Bauer. You got the Brian Banks situation. That woman and her mother needs to spend 5 years each in prison for what they did, because you knew it was a blackmail scheme. All of this, it's blackmail schemes. That's what this girl tried to do. She did it out of anger because she was trying to get more money out of them. And she stoked racial tensions on that campus. I mean, there was no telling how this could have went. An incident like that, just like the whole Tawana Brawley bullshit, you could have sparked race riots all across the country over a lie. I mean, we as black people, we have lost cities, towns, countless lives over false rape allegations, as the super mayor would say. If there's no DNA, why am I listening to you?
Here's a question I'd like to ask, Bay, regarding that whole situation. Who thought it was a good idea to have an exotic dancer?
They're college kids.
And this was on campus, correct?
They're college kids.
An exotic dancer.
They're college kids.
I know they're college.
They just won the championship. Why are you questioning the stupidity of college kids who just won a national championship?
Grounds, correct?
Yeah. No, most fraternities are kind of, it depends. I don't know if they were on grounds, but some fraternity houses are on college grounds, some aren't.
Exactly.
But it doesn't really matter. I mean, you have underage drinking, drug abuse, I mean, you do have some legitimate grapes going on, you know, in those dorm rooms and everything.
Documentary, anyone?
Huh?
There was a Netflix documentary called The Hunting Ground.
Look.
That gotta be. You gotta watch that with a huge grain of salt.
Look. You have unscrupulous women out here and men, but we're going to focus on the women. You have unscrupulous women out here that they'll convince themselves of a lie. This happened to me, because they want attention, and the attention, and really what they're looking for is pity. They're looking for somebody to love them. And the messed up part about it is like you were talking about how the dude felt that his father betrayed him. You have women who feel betrayed, and this is their vengeance. They'll go scorched earth on you. Scorched earth on you. I mean, you had videos of the one video of a woman beating herself up in an elevator. Her husband caught her cheating. She leaves the apartment in her bare feet, punches herself up in the elevator, runs downstairs, runs out screaming, claiming her husband assaulted her. Of course, the police come upstairs, they arrest him. Then they check the footage. She did time for that. Jonathan Majors. They found the bitch in the closet. Remember?
Same chick who chased him down those blocks.
Yes,
NYC,
that
right?
next morning. Found her in the closet.
Damn.
The simple fact that Disney thought it would be a good idea to believe DA Alvin Bragg's justice system, when all of the evidence showed that he was trying, everybody knew that she was a fucking pillhead, lush ass bitch who was just, she was a vampire, a leech and a vampire, just suckling off of the teeth of his wallet, while he sitting up here trying to. And this is, they say women are the downfall of men. He was trying to make her into something so that way they could be a power couple. But the thing is that, whatever believe what you see. Whatever people are showing you, believe it.
Yeah.
Just like this whole Travis Hunter situation. Dude, if the world is telling you what's going on with you and you're too hard-headed to believe it, then just like Jonathan Majors, eventually you're going to touch that stove and you're going to get burnt. You're going to run, stove is hot. And the only thing that's going to cool off your fingertips is time. And hopefully you learned a lesson from that.
I'll give you one more example, okay? Down in South Florida, Travis Rudolph. Because remember what happened to him?
Is that the guy, his girlfriend was married, and she swung on him before he went in the door? That bitch should be in jail. She got her brother and somebody else shot and killed.
One of her brother's friends. Because remember, they showed up outside the door of his house late at one night. You had a doorbell camera footage of him and the four of them outside waiting for them after midnight. He's like, "What y'all doing here?" And it's like, "It's demon time, nigga." Next thing you know, he and his brother and his younger brother have to fight these four. He's got his mom in the house. He's also got some other people in the house, and then they scramble back into the house, grab their weapon, grab some AR-15s, and they shoot, and they just like stand their ground, because they're trespassing, coming onto their property to harm them. And one of the guys, who I believe was Haitian American, from the four guys in that group of four, that was killed. The other three were injured
because of her. And she was on the stand talking like, so what? What the fuck y'all gonna do? I mean, she was very indignant about it. And it's like, why didn't she get charged for that?
Incitement, instigating. She should have gotten something. And you saw her. She was like juggling. She was talking in circles because she was trying to avoid being charged with perjury. Because they were asking, what do you mean by fuck his shit up? What do you mean by fuck his shit? Did he know that you were married? Her name was Dominique something. Dominique Jones was her name, sorry.
But you know what? That's his fault. Because I mean that night right there, that wasn't, Miss Cooking with Kaya, Susie Homemaker, sweet, innocent little nerdy black girl. All of a sudden she's suddenly turned into a monster. No, she was always a monster. Situations like that, you can avoid them just by simply stop thinking with your dick. Just stop thinking with your dick. Stop thinking with your dick. Then you have situations where you can be in a mutually beneficial relationship, and suddenly you do something to piss her off, like try to break off the relationship. And next thing you know, you are the biggest fucking. You are Satan level 7.
I mean, there's a show called Snap back in the day that came out a few years ago. You remember that show?
I know it exists. They make whole TV shows out of stuff like that. What do you think? What do you think these you're not the father shows be about?
Maury Povich, Steve Wilkos. Yeah, I know what you mean.
These chicks literally they know you're not the father, but they pin the baby on you anyway.
For attention.
You go to jail for child support and shit, and it's not your kid.
We talked about this a few years ago on BGS.
Yeah, and she'll sit there and shrug. Oh well, like bitch, I'm about to see if my thumb can touch my fingers. I'm gonna see if my thumbs can touch my fingers.
It was. I remember one time Ron Wills talked about one of those cases where it was the same chick, only she brought another man. She accused another guy of it, right? And Ron was talking about the creation of the dog. How some guys end up being a complete dog and shit, you know what I'm saying? And when you saw that boy, when he found that he wasn't the father, he just looked at her in shock. And then for a minute, he just, like, the mask came off, his face kind of twitched, and you're like, oh shit. And you would pray like somebody just, grab that kid, take him out, grab that young man, sit him down, and have a good talking to and help him get his head on straight. Because
Fuck all that. You pin look. You pin a baby on me. I've been taking care of this kid since I was, for the past 5, 11, 15, 18, 20 something years. And then I find out that it's not my kid. Pray, bitch, pray. We are never within eyesight of each other, even at a distance.
You missed my point, but
I look. Not even what I'm talking about. Not. This whole situation. Luckily, patriarchy saves lives. Because patriarchy invents science, technology, engineering, math. patriarchy makes test tubes and beakers and chemicals and cotton swabs and plastics and all the, and preservatives and all of that shit. And it's like, okay, let me swab you, let me swab her. All right. Oh, gee.
Swab the
Here's,
child.
huh?
Let me swab the child.
No, I ain't talking about that. I'm going back to the original story.
Oh.
So, okay, so there's no physical evidence on her that is you. Just like with the Kobe case, the girl had 3 different types of semen. Yeah, in her underwear. She's a big fucking hoe. Did Kobe tap that ass? Yes, he did. Did he grape that ass? No, he didn't. But yet, you know, that's what she claimed because she was afraid that her parents would find out that she fucked a naker. The king of LA nakers at that. In Colorado, a ski resort.
And he was
Are you
there for
kidding me?
rehab.
Yeah, which means that they don't get a lot. You know, hello there, children. That's the only black that they have there. You know, that's the home of South Park. Athletes, entertainers, regular Joes, bums in an alleyway, etc. Every man faces this shit. And if it wasn't for science, technology, engineering, and math, you're already fighting an uphill battle. Imagine what it would be like without those 4 elements, especially in today's day and age.
Come to my neck of the woods. I can, you know. I mean, where I live right now, I've known a couple men who've had to relocate, and they're hometown boys, but they had to relocate because of a false accusation. Even
They slept with the wrong chick. They slept with the wrong chick.
Well,
you know what? Look, that's what. Never mind. I don't want to say stuff like that. But the whole thing is that, you know, it's like every time you unzip in her presence, every time you don't even have to unzip. You can just be alone together. This is why you have corporations, thanks to the Me Too movement, where, you know, like, leave the door open, or my secretary will be here with us, or the partner or somebody else. I'm not going to be in a room alone with you. I'm not mentoring you. No, we're not doing any business trips. No, we're not doing none of that shit, because
Mike Pence rule.
You're right, because you are not going to, instead of fucking your way to the top, you're going to fuck over people on your way to the top by instilling fear and divisiveness into the workplace, to where if you ask me for a raise or a promotion and I turn you down, suddenly now I'm in HR and I'm hearing crazy shit come out of their mouths.
Accused of QPQ and shit.
Right, because you didn't get a promotion because your ass is unqualified. DEI was born out of this shit, just so you know.
And in some cases, they don't even hire the woman.
So, right. They have no idea how much damage that Miss Duke Lacrosse has done to. You talk about setting women back. This is another thing that's got them all bent out of shape, because all that whole believe all women and Me Too and all of that shit is going away. It's like, well, we have cameras everywhere.
Nobody wants to be a part of that, because everybody's tired of women fucking up a well-oiled machine.
Thank you.
The military, what did Hegseth say? We're getting women out of these fucking combat roles. Because how do men have cohesion? They're gonna tell dirty jokes. They're gonna be friendly. They're gonna do grab ass and all kinds of crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? That's how they show cohesion. You can't have
Dark.
there's no fucking time you seen Cohesion and you brought a chick there. Because now you gotta watch what you say. You gotta worry about if she can pick up her load.
What are the majority of the sexual assaults in the military, male on female? What is the majority of the happenstances behind that?
Alcohol.
And starts with an I.
What's that?
Isolation.
Isolation, yeah.
You out in the tent somewhere. You out on maneuvers.
People, and even then, let's say it's consensual. She likes one guy, but because she's hot in the ass, she lets old boy hit, or she got a boyfriend home. Because she's the only female, and what happens in a lot of these places, people don't want to talk about it. A lot of these 4s become desert 10s.
Ooh.
And they gonna get it by hook or crook.
And guess what? They screwed a whole platoon. Get back home, people got pictures or something of her, titties free, getting cracked by everybody. And guess what she's gonna say to save her own ass instead of saying I'm a whore?
I was violated.
But she was smiling in every picture. She was holding dicks like she was twirling batons.
This
Don't
is
matter.
why. Also, a group of people who are also who've been severely affected by all this are actual victims.
She didn't even swallow kids. She swallowed generations.
Oh Lord.
Oh. No, actually, he's got a point there. He's got a point there. But like I said, another group of people who've been affected by Me Too are actual victims, because a lot of them are now deterred from actually stepping forward and reporting.
Like who?
I said actual victims.
Yeah, because I know, you have some of these women who claim to be victims of Harvey Weinstein. Like, come on. Everybody knew what Harvey Weinstein was fucking up to. If you want to be in this movie, you had to meet this gross fucker in his hotel room. The casting couch, he wasn't the only director of the casting couch. That shit was a normal thing. Even what's her name talked about her situation on the casting couch. Zoe Saldana when she was 16 years old. Judy Garland, all the way back when she was 14 years old. This isn't it's not new shit. It's not new shit, but when you get Puffy and what's the name exists for a reason. The white guy.
Cassie.
The white guy. Epstein. These guys, they exist for a reason. They serve the elite. All right? For their perverse pleasures. And they exist for a reason. They don't exist in a vacuum. All right?
So true.
But you have, and at the same time, you have women that they don't exist in a vacuum when it comes to filing false charges, making false claims, etc., etc., etc. You'll have, you'll have these chicks. Travis Hunter, I'm telling you right now, she gonna pop out 2 kids, and if he plays up to his potential, when he get that big payday on that second contract, that's when she gonna hit him with the divorce. As soon as the ink dry on that bitch, he gonna get slapped with divorce papers.
You know what? It's interesting you brought up Travis Hunter, because I remember seeing a picture of him and her, right? If you notice, I think it was Compassionate and Callous, or maybe it was Password OG, one of them on their community tab posted a picture of him with his girl, right? And if you take, and the emphasis on the picture they had was of her left hand, because on her ring finger,
Yeah, she got that dollar sign shit. I mean, like I said, look, that's a different form of of sexual violation. Okay, because that's a prostitute playing a long con. All right, that's a different form of violation. Just like, whatever, the fucking ISIS pretty wife or whatever the fuck she is. Like you were listening to Shira 7, you banked on that shit. Come to find out you're a violent bitch, violent hood bitch. Your husband tried to file restraining orders. He couldn't do it because he tried to file restraining orders against her and the kids, but he couldn't do it against his two daughters. His two daughters, the three of them. He wanted a restraining order against her and the two kids, against whatever, keep her away from him and his daughters. He couldn't do that. He tried it 3 separate times. And all of a sudden, the next day, she run the daughter to the hospital, talking about some sexual abuse. Let me tell you what happens in a case like that. They do a cotton swab. They immediately swab the child. They snatch your ass up. They swab your ass for DNA, and then they compare. And if there is no bodily fluid on her private area that matches you, then guess what?
You're innocent.
There's no court case.
If there's evidence that proves that there was no penetration, by what's called a pelvic exam and everything, they take DNA, everything. They also checked for any trauma or any scarring or anything like that, or blunt force trauma. If there's no evidence of forceful penetration, it didn't happen. If the hymen is intact, it didn't happen.
He would have been arrested. I don't give a fuck what she said. This dude is just a tech guy making $120K a year. She make it seem like he the fucking, the goddamn king of police and got the mayor in his back pocket and all this shit. This bitch make it sound like he's the most powerful man. Did y'all see him? You ever see a picture of him?
No, but I will bring up something. I remember we talked about.
Hold on. He's a geek. He's a black geek.
Let me see. You got a picture?
He's a black geek. He, need a haircut, passport, bro, $40 a bitch. He one of them type of looking dudes.
All right.
Trust me, he not connected. He just a tech dude. He would have been arrested. He'd have had an arrest record. They'd arrested his ass as soon as the DNA swab come back. And she did the story 6 weeks after the incident happened. It's now been going on week 10? It don't take that long for that shit to come back.
Oh, this is recent? Okay.
This was damn near 4 months ago.
I didn't know. I'm just
no, I'm saying she was saying that. She said about 3 weeks ago that this happened 6 weeks ago, and I'm like, well then, bitch, where's his arrest record? It don't take that long for a DNA swab to come back on a sex crime of that magnitude. You really think they just swabbed her and then threw the shit in the freezer somewhere and say, we'll get to it when we get to it?
No.
That's a child.
Especially not so much in the case of a child.
Right. That's why it bugs me, because I saw somebody was talking about this case the other day, and I'm like, I know who it was. Okay. Glasses and beard. And he's still talking like the husband is guilty. And I'm like, nigga, guilty of what? Outside of marrying a raggedy single mother.
Like an imbecile.
That's used to dating felon. She got babies by felantonios. That's what if anything, he's guilty of that.
Guilty of bad decisions.
Right. Ain't no man doing no crazy shit like that gonna be trying to file restraining orders and divorce papers You want to keep your victims close, not get rid of them.
Keep them isolated. I mean, I remember one time on Charles's streams, it was like over a year ago. It was, what's her face, Van's aunt. She was interviewing this divorced couple, and the husband had been separated from the kids because the wife accused him of abusing the girls. Now they're adults, and you see the father sitting face to face with a woman, and Yana Van Zant's with them. And the daughters, when they were old enough, admit that nothing happened. They were able to clear their father's name. And the only thing the mother said while having this look of contempt for him, she looked and said, "Why didn't you fight harder? Why didn't you fight harder?" It was meant to be dismissive when she said that.
Do you understand now why I said I would see if my thumbs can touch my fingers? Are you understanding what I mean by that?
I don't know if I should be even asking that question.
Well, okay, this is what you do. Clasp your fingers together, not fully, but just like halfway. You see how your thumbs can touch your fingers? You see how your thumbs can touch your fingers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would see if my thumbs can touch my fingers.
Oh.
How dare you? How
I'm
dare
not
you?
slow, but there's
You
certain phrases
will
that
what at best? Oh no, at worst. For at best for you, you'll be talking differently. You'll sound like a man. You'll sound like that chick on Pop the Balloon. That would be your best outcome for you.
sound like Kathleen Turner in her later years.
Like, how dare you? All right, I don't want to. I'm already riled up, and I gotta go to some sleep. They coming to change the carpet down here in the basement at 11.
Well, play the video before you shut it off.
Yeah, it's the outro.
Yeah.
Wait, it's the outro.
Wait.
Yeah. I talk too much. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. All right, y'all. I'll catch y'all Wednesday. Peace.